I'm showcasing this breed type. This breed type looks this way based on what it was bred to do.
That's what the show is for.
How well, how well, and the presentation I have represent the breed type and its ability. Form follows function, and that has fundamentally changed. And there's some course correction that's going on now because we leaned a little too far in direction. But that's the only caveat I wanted to put there. Your grandfather was saying, look at how well bred my dogs are. They look like they're able to do the job they were supposed to do. That's the whole purpose behind the dog show in the first place. Was
Right.
hey,
And then,
how well does
right.
it
Then
fit the
you come to
standard?
the kennel and you see the dogs doing the work. Now, this is what the dog looks like in perfect form, and now here we go. This is what they do. You saw it. Now you're seeing it like this is the dog getting down and dirty. But now it's the show work pet thing. And so is a working dog not a show dog? Can that dog not go to the show? Can he only do work? Is that dog faulted? Is that why he's a working dog? Is he really ain't a work or she not really a working dog and you just saying that because you know the dog's not show quality and it's not pet quality, it's really trash. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of options. So my thing is like, if you don't go to the show, if you are like, I'm talking loud talking, you on Instagram, you're doing this. I mean, you're doing everything that I think a showman should be doing in this day and age, or even back in the day. But how do you shit on the dog show? Without the dog show, what you do don't even exist because the dog show, that's where the standards went. That's what had to accept the standards. Think about it. If me and you, we try to create our own environment without a kennel club, right? If that was the case, why would Lamone be trying to get his dog nationally recognized? Now, I'm not saying that somebody can't have a dog on their yard that they breed and that they do, but most of those people are quiet about it. We're not talking about those people. And they probably do got some good shit going on down there for real. You just don't know about it. But what I'm saying is like, how can you shit on the show? Without the show, there's no dogs. There's no breeds. That's the whole purpose of people creating the breed was to get to the show. So now you're saying fuck the show? So if you're saying that's why you said the culture is dead, now you're saying fuck the show. Because they're like, oh, if you show your dog, you a pussy.
The culture has changed. And, I think the show was significant. I think what was the first AKC show, like 1914? The show was significant.
It was sooner than that because they started, 1864. I think it was like 10 years after. I think it was like 1876, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know they formed in 1864. But regardless,
it was showcasing breed types from around the world, right? So you just had a whole bunch of world wars going on, and everybody's in their feelings and stuff like that. But it was also a way of bringing people back together. It was significant in that, hey, here's the German dogs, here's the Italian dogs, here's the French dogs, here's dogs from Japan. It was a way. It's geopolitics, and it was a way to bring people back in. So let's all right, take a step back. Outside of geopolitics, whenever there's politics, there's favoritism.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, think about the Chinese. 213 AD, they start breeding the carp and create the goldfish, and then they start. So right there, that's the first selectively bred animal in the world. That's the first pet ever, and then that's the first animal still to this day. That's the most widely traded of anything for entertainment or food purposes on the planet. And they started selling that shit to the Japanese people as good luck. When the Chinese would travel to Japan, they would bring the goldfish and sell it to them. And then, now look at it, through 1,000 years of process, now that fish comes in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. And if anyone who's into fish, I know you are, I know you're into fish, has ever and Doug is my co-producer. He real big into fish too. Anybody has ever seen the fish markets currently in China where you go to buy the fish? It's insane over there.
the dog show is culturally significant for a number of reasons. In it is this dog in the dog show lies its strength, but in it lies its flaws. And I think that if it's not being showcased on the broader scene, people don't know about it. But also at the same token, people don't need to know about everything. And this is where like the cross section of worlds change. It could be bulldogs, it could be Eurohounds, it could be Alaskan Huskies who have Sighthound and Pointer DNA in them. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is not for everybody.
Right. Well,
And
it's
that's
kind of what
because
Javier is saying in the comment. He said the show was a status. Well, of course, because most majority of people who had pets are rich. Most people who were hunting during these times were rich. They had money. Not all of them, but most people. I mean, that's where all the money came.
Yeah,
Like
an
even the
unnecessary
king,
expense. I'm gonna pick up.
yeah, they had peasants taking care of their dogs, but the peasants didn't own those dogs. They might get a dog or two for their work, but yeah, of course, and even now to this day, you think me having a 10-foot cobra ain't a symbol of status, whether I see it that way or not? Like that's what it is. You got some people who get mad because their cobras get so used to them and they don't hood up anymore. And I say, stick your hand in there and let that motherfucker bite you. He'll remind you of what he is. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like that's what it was about, but it was still about structure. It was, you're showing your dog. That's why it's called a show. That's the key word.
Yeah.
Reptile show, dog show, cat show. It's supposed to, but it's a competition. But in order to compete, your dog has to be able to do something, your animal, whatever it is. Like you can't come somewhere where you can't compete.